talk about Burrell McDonald and Filberto Cuesta. So why does it matter that we investigate the murders of Tupac and Biggie? Why is it such a big deal? I mean, they're dead. Let's let them rest in peace. A number of you have said, let's let them rest in peace. Let's move on. Well, let's not move on. Let's try and understand exactly what happened. I mean, it's pretty clear at this point that there were police involved in both of these murders. I mean, it's actually becoming extremely apparent, especially in light of recent circumstances. We see the whole David Kenner thing going to Suge, and so what's that about? There's something that needs to be communicated to Suge, that he needs to talk to David Kenner in light of the fact that Reggie Jr. and Reggie Senior have been arrested. Somehow they need to get some story straight about how they're going to play something, and that's why Kenner's reemerged. And again, why does it matter? Why do we care about the truth? Well, one of the cases that really bothered Russell Poole was a kid by the name of Filberto Cuesta. Now, there were drug dealers that were being robbed by the police. The police would come in, they'd pull them over, they'd shake them down, they'd take their drugs and their money, and then they'd let them go. That's what also happened in Compton. It happened at Rampart, it happened in Compton. And the next cop that came in to these neighborhoods, they were ambushed because you had just changed the rules of engagement. You had police that were shaking down drug dealers, and they were using their badge and they were abusing their power to enrich themselves. And so that changes the rules of engagement. It becomes my gang against your gang. And with police have the entire system that they can use against people. And they can even take innocent people and they can put them away. So again, why does it matter? Well, it's coming to light. There are two cases. Informants have come forward because Reggie Wright Senior has now been implicated in a drug sting. There are now cases that are in question because did he plant evidence to get convictions? Did he use his influence to find out where raids were going to happen so that the night before his gangs could go do a pre-raid on the raid, and so they could steal the drugs and the money? And so this information is all going to come to light. This card castle is all going to start coming down. David Kenner needed to communicate something to Suge Knight, and that's why we had the thing that happened in court today. Because now everybody's got to get their story straight so that they can figure out how to avoid the guillotine. That's what's going on. And so why does it matter? We have police who are given a sacred oath. They are charged with responsibility to protect and serve. And most of the police that take that oath do a good job. And they are honest and upright and upstanding individuals. And occasionally you have Cuesta and McDonald who come into neighborhoods after drug dealers have been robbed. And what happens? They get ambushed, and you have good police officers whose lives have now been put in danger, and they are murdered in cold blood. And we don't need any of that senseless killing. So that's why we need to get to the bottom of Rampart, of Big Spender, of the Compton police corruption. We need to know exactly what happened in these Tupac and Biggie murders too, because it's important for humanity. It's important for us to ensure that these kind of shenanigans never go on again. And what do? We have to put safeguards in place so that this doesn't happen again. That's why this is important. That's why we need to get to the bottom of this. And that's why this truth is now bubbling up. We have a corrupt cop who covered for corrupt cops. He has been outed. The corrupt cops that he said were great, that they were his buddies, that he was protecting, now have a big case against them. And that makes him, he's now fruit from the poisonous tree. He's a corrupt cop who covered for corrupt cops. We have Suge Knight that needs to talk to David Kenner because he wants to know what the hell's going on. What story do I tell? What's the party line? What do I say? How do I navigate through this very touchy situation? And what is it that I can say that can get me to the other end? Not murdered and not imprisoned. And that's what he needs to find out. But we need to find out the truth, because the truth is bubbling up, and it's bubbling up all around us, and it cannot be stopped.